This is your 30 seconds of trivia about The Worst Witch. It was made in 1986 and was based on the 1974 book by the late Jill Murphy. It starred Fabruza Balk, who had played Dorothy Gale in Return to Oz and would go on to play another witch in The Craft, Diana Rigg, who was in The Avengers, the British one, Tim Curry from Everything That Has Tim Curry, and Charlotte Rae, who played Miss Garrett in The Facts of Life. The movie was filmed at St. Michael's College in Tinbury Wells, England. The plot of the film revolves around Miss Cackle's evil sister Agatha, not that one, trying to take over the school with Charlotte Rae doing double duty as Miss Cackle and Agatha. Notably, the film contains a Tim Curry music video for the song Anything Can Happen on Halloween, written by Charles Strauss with lyrics by Don Black. This is your 30 seconds of trivia for A Christmas Story. Released in 1983, it starred Peter Billingsley from Iron Man, Darren McGavin from Kolchak the Night Stalker, and of course, The Lamp. I think it's Italian. Due to the movie's popularity, the Daisy Rifle Company produces and sells the Red Ryder BB gun at Christmas. And their warehouse is like right down the road. I could walk there right now. Darren McGavin's gibberish rants at the furnace were ad-libbed, as was the line, "He looks like a deranged Easter bunny." A Christmas Story is based on the 1966 book In God We Trust, All Others Pay Cash by Gene Shepard, who also narrates the film. Though set in Indiana, the movie was filmed in Cleveland, Ohio. The Higbee's department store featured in the film is now Jack Casino. This is your 30 seconds of trivia for The Goonies. Released in 1985, it starred Sean Astin from Fellowship of the Ring and Josh Brolin, who is inevitable, and a lot of other noteworthy people, but we only have 30 seconds. The film was directed by Richard Donner and produced by Steven Spielberg. Unlike most films, it was shot mostly in sequence. The pirate ship was real and took 2.5 months to build. The film takes place on Saturday, October 26, 1985, which is the same day as Back to the Future, also produced by Spielberg. June 7th is officially Goonies Day in Astoria, Oregon. Ma Fratelli and her sons are based on the Barker Karpus crime gang from the 1930s, as were the Beagle Boys from DuckTales. Sean Astin was allowed to keep the treasure map, but sadly, at some point, his mother, actress Patty Duke, mistook it for garbage and threw it away. This is your 30 seconds of trivia for Labyrinth. Released in 1986 and directed by Jim Henson, it starred Jennifer Connelly from Hulk and David Bowie from, well, being a rock god. The first draft of the script and later script punch-ups were done by Terry Jones of Monty Python. The CGI owl in the opening is the first attempt at a photorealistic animal in a feature film. The Magic Dance scene consisted of 48 Muppets operated by 52 puppeteers. The baby noises during Magic Dance were made by David Bowie. The film was produced by George Lucas, who did no interviews for the film so as not to steal Jim Henson's thunder. This was the final film directed by Henson, and though a flop at the box office, quickly became a cult classic on home video. The voices of two of the Fireys were performed by Danny John Jules, best known as Cat on Red Dwarf. This is your 30 seconds of trivia for Adventures in Babysitting. Released in 1987, it starred Elizabeth Shue from The Boys, Anthony Rapp from Star Trek Discovery, and was the directorial debut for Chris Columbus. No, not that one, the other one. Yes, that's him. The part of the mechanic, Dawson, was played by Vincent D'Onofrio, who was mistaken for Marvel Comics character Thor by Sarah. D'Onofrio went on to play the Kingpin in the MCU. Both Elizabeth Shue and Anthony Rapp have siblings that appear in the film as extras. The box of Captain Crunch seen in the kitchen is a Free the Captain contest box. I wonder who won that $1 million. Sarah's backpack has a picture of Gizmo from Gremlins. Gremlins was written by director Chris Columbus. This is your 30 seconds of trivia for Three Men and a Baby. Released in 1987, it starred Tom Selleck from Magnum P.I., Steve Guttenberg from Police Academy, Ted Danson from Cheers, and was directed by Mr. Spock. It also had Dave Foley from The Kids in the Hall in a bit part. The movie is a remake of a 1985 French film, Three Men and a Cradle, and is the highest-grossing remake of a French film in box office history. The wet spots on Tom Selleck's clothes in the movie poster are actually that baby's urine. The movie was passed up by multiple studios and eventually landed at Disney and was released under their Touchstone banner. Many actors were considered for the Three Men, including Michael J. Fox, Steve Martin, Bill Murray, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Tom Hanks, Michael Keaton, Bruce Willis, and more. This is your 30 seconds of trivia for Flight of the Navigator. Released in 1986, it starred Sarah Jessica Parker from Hocus Pocus, Howard Hessman from WKRP in Cincinnati, Paul Rubens from Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and Veronica Cartwright from Alien. Flight of the Navigator is the second film released under the Disney banner to contain profanity. The score was written by Alan Silvestri, who also scored the time travel film Back to the Future the previous year, and this score is distinct from his other work as it is entirely electronic music. The film is notable for being one of the first Hollywood productions to use extensive CGI. Several child actors auditioned for the role of David, including Joaquin Phoenix and Chris O'Donnell. This is your 30 seconds of trivia for Short Circuit. Released in 1986, it starred Steve Guttenberg from Police Academy, G.W. Bailey, also from Police Academy, Ali Sheedy from The Breakfast Club, Austin Pendleton from The Muppet Movie, and Fisher Stevens from The Super Mario Bros. Stevens, who is white, played the Indian character of Ben in both Short Circuit and Short Circuit 2. He has since apologized for the racial insensitivity of the character. The movie was filmed in Astoria, Oregon, which is also the filming location for The Goonies, Kindergarten Cop, and Free Willy. The Johnny Five robot prop cost $1.4 million and weighed 250 pounds. This is your 30 seconds of trivia for The Great Outdoors. Released in 1988, it starred Dan Aykroyd from Coneheads, John Candy from Volunteers, and Annette Bening from Mars Attacks. It was written by John Hughes, who was possibly the gravitational center of 1980s cinema. John Candy showed up to film with a large beard. The studio made him shave it off. The resort is set at a fictional lake in Wisconsin, and was filmed at Bass Lake in California. The film was originally going to be titled Big Country. Before Dan Aykroyd was cast, Chevy Chase and Bill Murray were considered for the role of Roman. The local townspeople said that John Candy was a joy to work with. This is your 30 seconds of trivia for Big. Released in 1988, it starred Tom Hanks from Bosom Buddies, Elizabeth Perkins from The Flintstones, Robert Loggia from Independence Day, and was directed by Penny Marshall from Laverne and Shirley. To give Tom Hanks an idea of how a 13-year-old would act, Penny Marshall shot the grown-up scenes with David Moscow, who played the young version of Hanks' character. And man, I wish I could see that cut of the film. Maybe Zoltar can help. Robert De Niro, Robin Williams, and Harrison Ford were considered for the role of Josh. This film is the first that got Tom Hanks nominated for an Oscar. Adult Josh has a model of the Apollo Saturn V rocket in his apartment. Tom Hanks went on to star in Apollo 13.